guys, and welcome once again to the Combination Classroom. Today, you should probably be used to this by now, this setup. I have two videos out, two or three with this kind of setup, with WordPad open. But today we're going to be looking at how to choose and pair RAM with your already chosen processor and motherboard. If you haven't watched those two videos, I recommend going back and watching them, because this video will be kind of irrelevant unless you have chosen those two first. Choosing a processor is the first one you need to watch, and then choosing a motherboard is the second one, which I just uploaded today, earlier today. I'm going to try and start getting videos out even more fast-paced than I already am, since I've been out of it for so long. I want to catch up and get back into the swing of things. But we're going to focus today in this video on choosing RAM to go with your already chosen processor and motherboard. And the first thing you need to look out for is this RAM compatible with your motherboard and your processor. Now, if you remember from the previous videos, if you haven't watched them, or if you have watched them, I'm sorry, I chose the i7-2600K processor. Maybe Newegg does this to me sometimes. I chose the Core i7-2600K processor, and if you have your processor open right now in Newegg or Tiger Direct, whichever you prefer, I prefer Newegg, you can see that, this processor supports dual channel memory, DDR3, 1066, and 1333. Now, I've already talked about this. You need to make sure this matches what's on your motherboard, which the motherboard I have chosen is the Sabertooth P67 from Asus. So you want to bring up your motherboard page on Newegg or Tiger Direct, go to the details section, and you can see under the memory category, you can see the memory standard is DDR3, 1866, 1800, 1600, 1333, and 1066. Stay away from these top three, and I believe there's even a couple more faster than that. Those are overclocked frequencies. So you want to avoid those. Stick with 1066 and 1333 for now, because that's what I believe the standard is right now. I already have RAM picked out, but I'm going to go through the process of picking it out in the first place. So once you have that figured out, you can go back to the Newegg homepage, or you could just do this from where you were at. Go to Computer Hardware and Memory. I know I'm naming this How to Choose RAM, but in Newegg and maybe even Tiger Direct, I believe it's Memory. It's Memory, not RAM, which is the same thing because RAM actually stands for Random Access Memory. So, after you've chosen memory from the computer hardware section, you want to click on desktop memory. Now, this is important. You want to go down to speed. Depending on what your base frequency was for your processor and motherboard, I would try and go for the fastest. You can search by manufacturer. The G-Skill Eco series are the best, some of the best RAM you can get on the market right now. Corsair Dominators are really good, but they're really expensive. If you're really in the market for something cheap, go for probably Patriot, maybe even OCZ. No, sorry, maybe the Patriot G series, the Corsair XMS 3s. But if you're in the market for a cheap set, don't get anything, I don't think, under 25. I would even maybe go up to these two sections here. Let's open this up. So these are the cheap manufacturers, although all these manufacturers do make higher end RAM, except for Wintec, I believe. They might. But mainly the manufacturers you want to stick to for desktop RAM on the cheap side are PNY, G-Skill, Crucial, Corsair, Patriot, and Kingston. All of these other brands are, Kingston HyperX and Kingston Technology Core. All these other brands are off brands. They're not really, they're main brands, but they're off main brands. They're the cheaper set of things. And even in a cheaper computer, you don't really want something extremely, extremely cheap. So if you're into cheaper, if you're just building a everyday school office or work computer, go for G-Skill, Crucial, Corsair, Kingston HyperX, Patriot, and Kingston Technology Core. Oh, I'm PNY. Sorry, I left that out. Sorry, PNY. But anything from 25 to 75, I would say anything 37 and over. Let's sort this by lowest price. But anything maybe 40 to 75 is going to be your mid-end, your low to mid-end, decent desktop memory. And make sure to stick to those brands. Where did that go? Maybe I can find it. But, well, there's Corsair Vengeance. Corsair Vengeance is good. But as long as you're with one of those brands, it's going to be you're going to be all right. I think I lied to you. 1600 is okay. 1600 is not overclocked. So I lied. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lie. So 1066, 1333, and 1600 are what you want to look for when choosing RAM. But for my purpose, I would like to go to all stores, please. I would like some high-end memory, desktop memory. Now, remember what I told you earlier about G-Skill's Eco Series? That's what I'm going to be going with for my new computer build. I believe it was somewhere in the price range of $89. You don't want to search by price range first, so I probably shouldn't do that first. You would like to sort by how much you're going to need. Now let me separate this up for you. 2 gig is pretty much obsolete at this point. I don't think I see any pre-built computers coming with 2 gigabyte of RAM. If you have 2 gigabyte already and you're looking to upgrade to 4, this is what you need to look for. But if you're building a new computer, you want at least 4. Or if you're doing a complete core upgrade of your motherboard, processor, RAM, and the works, you want at least 4. Now, I would recommend not going with 4 times 1 gigabyte, because most motherboards are not going to make not most motherboards, but most low-end motherboards are not going to make 4 DIMM slots. Maybe more today than they have in the past, but I still wouldn't recommend it, because if you get 4 and there's only 4 slots on your motherboard, you're going to be out of luck if you want to upgrade to 8 later. I don't go for 6 because it's just a weird number for RAM, I think. But if you're going for 4, this would be for a low-end office, school, and work computer to a mid-end, low-end, mid-end gaming computer with maybe a little bit of like video stuff thrown in. So 4 is I think 4 is the industry standard right now, is how much they give. And I would go for 2 times 2 gigabyte, because if your motherboard ends up having 4 or more DIMM slots, most are not going to come with more than 4. Then you can upgrade to 8 later on, which is something you can't do if you have 4 RAM chips in a slot. Sorry, that knocking you heard was my mom. She needed to talk to me. Seems like my parents always seem to want to knock on my door when I'm recording. Oh well. But as I was saying, I would go for 2 times 2 gigabytes for if you're going for 4 gig for a low to mid-end system, you are going to want to go for 2 by 2 gigabytes. That'll mean you get 2 sticks of 2 gigabytes each. Oops. Don't want that. So, but if you're going for a high-end to enthusiast system, you want to get anywhere from 8 to 16. Well, that sounds like a huge number, but people still do it. I would never go for this much RAM, to be honest, depending on how much it cost. But 8 is what you're going to usually be the standard for a high-end to enthusiast system. Maybe not enthusiast. Enthusiast would be more like 16 to 24. But I'm going to go with 8 because that's what I'm planning on getting for my new computer. So you just click on how much you want. And remember how we said DDR3 1600? You want to try and go for the fastest that you can get. Go for that. Now, latency is important. What? Whoops. Did something wrong. I'm sorry. Don't judge me. Sorry, for 8 gigabyte, you want 2 times 4 gigabyte. Not 4 times 2 gigabyte. And DDR3 SD RAM as the type. And DDR3. See, these are your overclock frequencies. Is 1866, 2000, and 2133. So those are your overclocked frequencies. Now, if you have a price limit, you can search by price limit, but I wouldn't recommend skipping out on your RAM. I wouldn't recommend skipping out on any of your parts, to be honest, unless you're going for an extremely budget system. Latency is important. The lower the latency, the better the RAM. So I'm going to try 7. I don't know if my RAM has 7 latency or not. I think that's it right there. Let's look. So I tend to ramble. What? Where did my combo go? Okay, I'll have to go get that later. It's not. See, yeah, okay. So for my purposes, I want DDR3 1600, and it's not there. Why is it not there? Top model. Why is it not there? Whoops. Huh. That is really weird. Oh, probably because... yeah, my cast latency is 8. Just out of curiosity. Oh, but it's slower. No, wait, no, just out of curiosity. Right. Seems like better RAM, but it's more expensive. Okay, I'm not shopping for myself. I'm trying to. But, I would say a good cast latency for DDR3 RAM for a decent system is 7, 8, or 9. Since mine, the RAM I already know I'm getting is 8. I'm just going to go for 8, and there it is. I would not go for the Ripjaws series, just because they're a lower standard of RAM than the Eco series. Also, the Eco looks cooler. It's also more expensive, but if you're going for a decent high-end system, you're going to want something a little more expensive and a little more durable. Now, I have a friend who has a pair of these. He has 4 gigabytes. He has 2 times 2 gigabyte in his computer. But I have a friend that has 2 of these. They look really awesome. They're his are more whitish, like instead of this gray, it's white. And they look really awesome. But that's really the process you need to go through for choosing some RAM. Is your compatibility with your motherboard. Can't talk now. Compatibility with your motherboard and processor, the speeds that you need for your purposes, and your price and build quality. Now these two can vary. You can have a low price with amazing build quality, or you can have low build quality with an amazing price. Oh, sorry. Low build quality with a high price. So be wary of that. Or you could have somewhere right in the middle. But those are the three components you should look for when choosing RAM for your new computer. So that's all I really have to say about that, and I hope these are helping. I hope you have actually watched them. They're getting to be long. I need to stop rambling, which I'm going to try to do, so don't count on it, but I shall talk to you tomorrow, maybe even later tonight, who knows. Thank you, and have a good night.